Well, you can't fool the spirit. You can confuse the mind, but you can't fool the spirit. The way that I feel about something is way more realer than what I think about. I can change how I think about stuff all the time, but the way that I feel about stuff is probably never going to change. When I rap, my feelings are trapped in a place of strength, and I'm in warrior mode every time I go into the studio. Like, and that's the guiding spirit behind what I do.
Microphone check, 1 2. What is this? It's the 5'7" assassin in the podcast business. I am your host, Rohan Patra, the rap music plug at your service. Here we are again at the end of the rainbow. Fat Ray is a true Detroit hip-hop OG who embodies everything that makes the scene so special. The grit, the distinct style, and the appreciation of hip-hop is always on display when you put a Fat Ray track on. Having made music for multiple decades, Fat Ray has been a mainstay in Detroit's scene, dropping certified heat, collaborating with the likes of Elzhi, Dilla, his fellow Bruiser Brigade brethren, and Black Milk, who collaborated with Ray on his new Album of the Year contender of a record, Food from the Gods. Listen on to hear Fat Ray drop jewel after jewel on how he stays so effortlessly authentic, both as a man and artist, the beautiful ugly of Detroit hip-hop, his strong relationship with Black Milk, and the inspired creation of Food from the Gods. The Rap Music Plug podcast presented by QLC TV is the remedy to the I don't have anything good to listen to problem. Through in-depth artist interviews, album reviews, and general rap commentary on the best that the underground rap scene has to offer, this is your one-stop shop to knowing what to add to your queue, play next, or pop into your record player. Welcome to the show. Fat Ray, how you doing today?
Good, man. Good. What's the deal, gang?
It's great. It's great. Toronto's been fucking frigid, but it's actually the sun's coming out. We had daylight savings, which now we get the bad end of it where we lost an hour. I didn't even notice until I looked at my microwave. I'm like, wait, we lost a fucking hour.
You
Luckily, I
did.
slept well. Luckily, I still got my 8 hours even with that, so I'm like not complaining, but
Yeah, we did. You know, we neighbors, bro. So, you know,
yeah, you guys
Detroit,
have the same thing, right? You guys,
Canada, yeah,
yeah.
our weather pretty much not too far away from each other. So, you know, it's always like that. Make the hair stand up on the back of your neck, let you know you still alive, all
hmm
that. Yeah,
And
yeah, it's
so
real.
And so, like, Food from the Gods, you, Black Milk, out now. And from my vantage point, I have to say, every single person I've talked to about this is just loving it. So, like, from your perspective, how's the reception, just to start it off? How's that felt for you?
The whole process been you know, an awakening for me, and it's been, you know, refreshing, man. Like to see this generation, you know, adapting to real hip hop and seeing how they feel and the conversations that they sparking after hearing the album. It's just it's all a blessing, man. It's all a blessing for me, you know, to be able to get that experience like a fresh new artist all over again, and just being receptive to the whole experience. You know, me and Black, you know, we always get together and make good music. But now it's like we made good music with the intentions of reeling in listeners this time, if
Hmm.
that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? We never really made music to get other people to listen. We made music for us, but this was a blatant, you know, open invitation, you know, of sorts to, you know, those who are familiar with us to get reintroduced, and the people who not familiar with us to get introduced. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah. And you're
I
right
hope
about that generation part, because like when you first started to release music, like that's like at the early stages of the blog era. And then I find there's a lot of people around your age and in terms of like seniority in hip hop where they didn't like I feel like a lot of careers would go differently had they started around maybe let's say a couple years ago because the landscape's so different. Like, I mean, I almost feel like in
yeah,
a lot of ways it's harder to make it's hard to make music and make a living out of music in general. Like obviously that goes without saying, but like there's a lot more of an internet kind of like global community in indie rap that's really flourishing and really has started kind of since like
for sure,
2018, 19 kind of thing. It's been on a big of renaissance, if you will. So like
for sure.
it's good to be a part of that.
Facts, facts. A lot of MCs from my era, they didn't have the advantages of the internet, right? Like the way it is now, for music. We really had to go outside and rap. So it was like being in those ciphers and being in those, three-way phone calls. Like we had to call. We used to battle rap on three-way
That's
phone calls.
crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So you didn't know who you was battle rapping against. And then we'd all just meet up out in public. And then you see the person you was rapping against for the first time. You know what I'm saying? It was like everything was so fresh and new. Now it's like with the internet, it's like playing catch up, pretty much. You gotta go back and you gotta catalog everything you missed. If you want to have a solid understanding of anything now, you got to go back and catalog all the episodes you missed.
hmm
So, it's a weird place with hip hop because, for the people who feel like they should be solidified in this thing, it ain't no ground. There's no ground to stand on anymore. So it's like the consumer is the one that's going to dictate everything that happens from here on out. There's no more gatekeeping. All
Yeah.
these dudes, middleman, and all the way that the labels operate, it's all just either you got it or you don't. And if you got that thing that I want, let me have it. And if you don't, then I'm going to keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? So it's microwave era. So I'm
Yeah.
glad to have staying power with this generation, because that's one thing that I'm seeing that's like the common factor. It's like these guys are saying like, man, I didn't know that it was this good, that you could rap this good. Like, but usually when you in the pocket or where you're supposed to be, hip hop does the job for you, man. It makes it sound easy.
Yeah, I'd like to think that, like good music eventually that's like the prevailing factor. Like people will find it. And I think you're right. Like it's a really a consumer-led industry nowadays where there's less gatekeepers. So like, if you're as long as you kind of have that sound and you're making it somewhat available to people, like hopefully people find it. And I think when we look at this album, I almost want to take a step back first and just talk about Detroit in general and the long lineage of like hip hop greatness that you've been a part of. And when I think of the scene, it's just so special because it's so rich and nuanced with such a wide variety of influences. Like there's like that dance scene. There's like so much different things going on, and I always find myself captivated by Detroit hip hop. I feel like honestly, like out of all the scenes, like that's been the one since like 2023 for me where I've just been getting like really always in the mood for it because there's such a diversity. And I wonder, now it's been several decades with hip hop, flourishing in Detroit. Like, how would you describe the evolution of it? Like, what stayed the same from, the early days and what's kind of changed in your mind now?
The reoccurring thing that stayed the same throughout the entire time of Detroit is the spirit of the people, the soul. The soul that you hear in our music is the soul that's been pressing through the neighborhoods. It's the energy that's been pressing through, the suburbs. It's that energy. It's that transferable energy that's been in the city since its culmination. It's a spirit of fight and rebellion and freedom and blue collar lifestyle, work ethic. So it's like techno music was created here. So techno is pretty much at the forefront of all things Detroit. Um, Techno is like the driving force of the workforce, like getting that work done, that movement. That's why the festivals that we have is like movement fest, and it's just about getting active and being live and letting your spirit shine through. So you know, with the with techno being created here, it really gives a good gauge for where the spirit of the people is.
Hmm.
It's high functionality in the musical realms here. So to the point where you have to hyperactive and then on the other end de-escalate the activity too. So it's a fine marriage between the two. So techno, ghetto tech, house music, all this culmination, that's where our DJs come from here. So if you get an opportunity to hear our hip hop, it's only because it came after all the techno that you had to funnel through. Because our DJs promote techno music. So if you ask the DJ from Detroit to play you some music, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna play you techno or ghetto tech or some house because that's where our foundations were set. Now, we have a wide array of super talented hip hop artists that have taken elements from the origins, from the New York origins, from the origins down south of just our people and how music has traveled. And you have the Midwest right here. You can go from the East Coast to the West Coast without even stopping by Detroit. So that's really what the industry has been doing. They go and have their way from the East Coast to the West Coast, and we kind of get bypassed in the
Yeah.
process. So over the last 30 years, we've had our own independent, unfiltered, unadulterated artist community of these super talent artists who nobody's been on their radar. They've been on no one's radar outside of the people who actually got a chance to see these artists and interact with them. So for the last 20 years, I've been around legendary artists here in the city, from the likes of Jay Dilla's, the Big Proofs, the Bazaars, the Eminems, the Bugses, the Chaos and Maestros, the Awesome Dre's, the Detroit's Most Wanted. We have a boss. We have a wide array of super talented artists that have existed in our artist community who really did not get their flowers. So, with that being said, we have this underground connection of artists who get together and make music together and exist in this community that really is not affected by the industry.
Mm.
So now we have people from subcultures around the world, in the UK, overseas, who've taken a liking to our underground community and have started to catalog these artists who haven't been getting attention over the last 30 years because they all have been releasing music in their own way. So you have this fantastic music community of Detroit artists who all have been mastering their craft and had absolutely no industry influence or input or output per se over the creativity of their music and where their music gets to go. So it's a beautiful ugly if you want to
Yeah.
call it. You know what I mean? So me being a part of that process, I just learned to love the priceless stuff, love the fact that I know Jay Dilla. That was doing a record with Jay Dilla was on my bucket list as a kid. Like I accomplished that thing, and there's still people in my own city who don't know who Jay Dilla is. So it's like I mentioned, if you miss those episodes, it's up to the person who's trying to keep the culture alive to go back and catalog those episodes that you missed, because you definitely missed some episodes. You feel me? So those who care make it there, if it makes sense.
No, I really like how you say the way you describe the industry or the community within Detroit artistically, because that is so true. Like an artist, like a lot of those like bigger names that you were rhyming off there in other places, if that was in New York, if that was in LA, they would have been touched by the industry already. And then they would have been, industry shit happens, they get, it's kind of interesting how people from all kind of levels of notoriety kind of are rubbing elbows and like collaborating because the, cream of the crop, not even in terms of talent, but just in terms of marketability, they haven't been poached by the industry. So you're kind of just it's really interesting the way you put it and the beautiful uglies because obviously, that's great from a raw, authentic perspective, but obviously, people gotta, make ends meet and put food on the table. So it's not like that's just this amazing, beautiful thing. Objectively, there's obviously downsides to it, but I like that beautiful ugly and that definitely that spirit of blue collar is like something that I always hear. It's that raw hunger not even just in the rap, but like you said, the all the house techno shit. I like it how I like Detroit's kind of take and brand of techno because it's not sanitized like a lot of the more mainstream techno is, where it's just yeah, I'm not a fan of a lot of that. Fan of like, some more like experimental weird shit and then just like this raw kind of like get you moving type stuff. And that ethos really is really embodied into your music to a T, and you can hear it and how tough your rhymes are. It feels like soaked in Detroit every way. So I wonder like how does your city inspire and influence what and like how you rap?
Well, you can't fool the spirit. You can confuse the mind, but you can't fool the spirit. You can't. The way that I feel about something is way more realer than what I think about, if that makes sense. I can change how I think about stuff all the time, but the way that I feel about stuff is probably never going to change. Once I make up my mind how I feel, then, I'm feeling from a place of strength. If you, when I rap, my feelings are trapped in a place of strength, and I'm in warrior mode every time I go into the studio. Like, I'm seeing the 300 in my head. I'm seeing Bruce Lee in my head. I'm seeing the Game of Death in my head. I'm seeing, Fist of the North Star in my head. Like, Dragon Ball. I'm seeing Goku in my head. Like, I'm seeing all these warriors in my head of different type and archetype. You know what I'm saying? And that's the guiding spirit behind what I do. Is just the thing that you had to have going outside. You had to have a warrior's mind going outside in my city because, especially me being, a kid who, was fat. I always had to stand up for myself. You know what I'm saying? I always had to be witty and I always had to be interesting so that people could understand who I was as a person and see beyond my exterior. You know what I'm saying? So, just having those qualities and the mentality to be strong and, perseverance and just grit, all that type of stuff is what really drives me. I'm really not driven by nothing weak, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. It
Yeah.
falls in the weak bucket. Like the bucket that I process stuff through is a strong bucket. So all the stuff that I see that's strong goes in that bucket, and then I get to talk about the things in that bucket, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I like how you put that because it's really fascinating with your music too. Like when we talk about this grit, this strength, you can hear it not only kind of like in the content, but or the lyrical quality, but just in your voice, right? Like it's just like it all kind of fits that same kind of aesthetic, that same feeling, but it's also not like I wouldn't categorize you as some artist where like I need to be in this very narrow mood. And there's a lot of great music that is like that where like maybe it's just super depressing where you're just like okay,
It's
like
a
I
niche.
gotta be in that mood. But you have a lot of other multifaceted aspects to your music. Like you're really fucking funny. Like and that comes across in your music like a lot kind of like goofy humor, some really clever humor. It's like I'm a fan of it, and it makes your music like adds to that like I can just keep playing this because I'm. It's like more a little more accessible in that sense. But like when you think about your writing process, the way you kind of like pull in all these influences, what does that look like typically? Like how do you typically approach a rhyme or approach a record?
Well, I really try not to think about it a lot because the creator, the way, like I try to model everything after my creator. You know what I'm saying? I know he has to be one of the most humorous people. It says, when God hears our ideas, he laughs. So it has, you know what I mean? Like it has. That's where the buck stops for me. Like all our ideas at the end of the day are jokes in the eyes of God. Well, no matter how serious it is or matter how lighthearted it is, it's all a joke to the creator because he's the victorious one in the end. Through everything, he claims the victory. So if I follow a creator who's victorious in all of his ways, I cannot take none of this serious. I take him serious, but I don't take none of this serious, if that makes sense. So even when you hear me in my most serious moments, it's all to be taken as a joke because it's not the word of God. So I'm just
That's
telling
dope.
jokes the whole time. If it makes sense, I'm a comedian too. All of us are just comedians in the eyes of God.
You're a huge part of this kind of Detroit. I think honestly it's been like on the up and up too, as you were saying. Like a lot of these people are starting to pay attention. A huge staple and growing powerhouse in Detroit is obviously Bruiser Brigade, and that's something that you've been a part of officially as it became a record label a few years back. And you guys have been fucking killing it, and it's really been special seeing how I really feel like each and every member has had their moment to kind of create that, like, okay, now this is their next level up, their next elevation as an artist. Bruiser Wolf had a great moment last year. JUS Squad B, I think that, yeah, that was last year. That was fucking an incredible record. I loved having them on the show and talking about that album and so on and so forth. Z Looper is doing his thing. And as an OG in the Detroit scene, what compelled you to join forces with Bruiser Brigade? Like, what did you see in the way they like approached art that inspired you and made you want to be a part of it?
Well, first, I'm connected to the Bruiser Brigade in weird ways. Like, the Bruiser Brigade was originally the Reservoir Dogs. It was a group with Danny Brown, Chips De Niro, and Dopehead, which is Danny's cousin, and um, and a couple other guys. But Danny Chips De Niro lived around the corner from me as a kid.
Oh
So he
wow.
used to come around. I had a studio in my basement as a kid. So he used to come around to my house to mess around with music as a kid. I knew Chips. And so in the culmination of being in the Detroit hip hop scene, I bump into Danny Brown out, out and about in these environments. Like at the time, it was a place in the city that we had downtown. It was what was it? We had Lush Lounge. We had Alvin's, so it was at Alvin's. We were at Alvin's downtown where I met Danny Brown. But doing a show at Alvin's, I believe Razzcast was there and I happened to be performing that night, and Danny was in the building performing for the first time. Detroit had seen him perform, and that's how we started our introduction with each other at a show. So my knowledge of Danny Brown is he's always been a good showman, and his knowledge of me is the same. So me and Danny know each other from being active in the hip hop community. Years go by, Danny gets established in the scene. I get a call from one of the homies to come over to Drummer B's house, and I go by Drummer B's, and me and BMO kicked it. Me and BMO is like he's like one of the invisible members of the Bruiser Brigade, but he's the reason like that everything's still glued together real very
Mm.
very tightly. He's from Baltimore, but he came to Detroit because he was a fan of Danny Brown, and he actually got with Danny Brown and made Danny Brown help Danny Brown become the one of the artist that he is today. So BMO has a lot of insight. But so back to him, BMO, we had a conversation in front of Drummer B's crib, and he expressed to me how Danny wanted me to be a part of the Bruiser Brigade and what they had going on, and that if I'd be interested, that it was all love with the rest of the crew, that the guys all was in agreement that they wanted me around. So that's where it started. I just started coming to hang out with the guys, and we started making music, and it just made before I knew it, 10 years it went by.
That's dope.
And
That's
here we
dope.
are.
That's dope.
So
And when we get to Food from the Gods more specifically now, we obviously got to talk about your relationship with the collaborator. Primary one here is Black Milk. How did you two first kind of connect and begin making music together? Because your first record was 2007, so that's 18 years ago.
again,
God
Detroit
damn.
hip hop. Again, that unfiltered Detroit hip hop music scene. DJ Dez at the time, who was DJing for Slum Village, he was their DJ. Slum Village's DJ. He snuck young RJ, and which is the active member of Slum Village right now, and Black Milk, snuck these guys into the Lush Lounge, which was a active hip hop underground scene that was going on at the time, where artists could come perform their music. Crews of artists, different artists from throughout the city, would go to highlight the best of the city underground scene. So DJ Dad sneaks these two young guys into the club. I'm performing that night, and after my performance, we get introduced. They want me to come do a feature at the studio for these young guys who like Dilla proteges. Young RJ and Black Milk. These are the two guys that's predicted to be the best two producers to come out of the city in the future. Hell yeah, I'm down. Go to the studio. Me and Guilty Simpson went to the studio together to record verses for these two young producers. But it's tape called The Dirty District, Volume 2, which was actually a Slum Village inspired tape. So I end up recording this verse. I come out the booth. We play the verse back. We listen to it. We all look at each other. Young RJ said, man, I need another one. Go in there and let me get another verse. We need another verse, bro. I said, all right, bet. I'll do another verse. So we go in, do another song. We come out the studio, come out the booth. We play that verse back. We listen to that record. Black and Ralph look at each other. They say, yeah, bro, you just stick around, bro. We're going to need you for this whole process. I say, hey, I'm here, bro. This is my first time getting paid to do music. And that was the beginning of BR Gunner.
That's
That's where it all
dope.
started, from one feature.
I love it. And when you look at the what Black Milk's been able to do, the legacy he's been able to create, the impact, given that you two have had such a long and deep creative relationship, like what makes his approach to creating music special, in your opinion?
The moniker that I can use to simply explain Black Milk to the world is cooler heads prevail. Okay. Black Milk is one of the coolest people, not only people, he's one of the coolest brothers I ever met. He's super freaking cool, bro. And this level of cool, you don't get this cool just by hanging out around other cool people. Like, you got to know some shit to be this cool. Like, he's cool through his knowledge of how to do shit, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of people cool because of the people they hang around, or cool because of some shit that they got on, or cool because of something they drive in, or cool because of some activity that they partake in. But some people is cool because of what they know. And it just exuberates because you just know this shit that's so great to know. It just makes you this super cool person, bro. And you get to walk in that. And Black's one of those people. Like, he's so good at what he does that he gets to walk in his rhythm that he creates. And he's been that way since I met him. Everything that I've done with him has been a song. Even hanging out with Black is a song. Like, it's a song that can't be duplicated. We make memories every time we in each other's presence. Like, I get priceless memories. I've had priceless memories from the day we've met. Every time we've done anything, it's all meant the world to me. And, and him, taking his time to reach out to me and care about what I got going on, period. You know what I'm saying? And respect me as an MC and as a brother. I would be less than a man to feel that, to not step up to that position and be everything that Fat Ray is supposed to be with the people who are dependent on me to be who I am, if that makes sense.
Hey man, that those you dropped so many bars there. Even hanging out with Black is a song. That's crazy. I love that. I love that. And you were saying we were talking, I don't know if it was before we recorded, like I was saying how like listenable this record is, how I just keep wanting to go back to it. And I think that's what you mean by that knowledge shows up just in terms of like what music sounds good together. What it's not even just the individual songs, it's the pacing of this record. It just has a great ebb and flow. Like Frankie Lyman comes in and it's kind of a little more low key after like beating you in the head with like some like darker and like some more wacky shit early on in the record. Like it's just that kind of finesse, that kind of yeah, that kind of like
And I
refined knowledge is incredible and it shows up in the music.
and it's crazy because remember what we were saying earlier about when man comes up with their ideas, guys laugh, God laughs at them. After we finished that tape and Black sent me the tape back to listen to, I played it in the car, and that was the first time I felt like God wasn't laughing at me. Bro.
Wow.
That's the first time I felt like I heard Jay Dilla saying, "Good job, little bro." Talking to Black though. You know what I'm saying? Good job, little bro. You created the soundscape that could allow an artist to even paint on that level for real. Because as artists, that's all we want to do. We just want our pictures painted the way we hear it and see it in our mind. Any artist to tell you that they not doing that is lying. They just really want to hear themselves the way they hear themselves in their head and see themselves the way they see themselves in their head. So by us not being able to create our own soundscapes, a lot of artists who are just linguistic masters who just know the language and don't pretty much know how to write music or compose, we depend on those producers to create that landscape for us, that canvas for us to be able to paint. And Black is like one of the best canvas creators, bro. He's gonna give you that canvas to where you're gonna be the limit to it. You're gonna be the limit to how great it can be. You know what I'm saying? And given that opportunity to where it was like, okay, damn, bro, you just put me in, you put my neck in the guillotine for real. Because when them beats was playing, that's exactly how I felt. Like my neck was in the guillotine and it was about to slam down on me. And if I didn't show up, I was gonna be headless and you would hear it. You would clearly hear me headless on that production. If I came half-assed in any kind of way, if I tried to fake the process, if I tried to create it unorganically, you was gonna hear me in that guillotine. In my place, I had to put an iron neck on and say, drop it.
Yeah.
That project turned me into, you seen the Five Deadly Venoms, that turned me to the Toad. Like I'm the Toad, bro. I am I am impenetrable. Like it's no force that you can create, no weapon formed against me can prosper, bro. I am the Iron Man of the Yin Yang. Black, he forged it in fire. He put my neck in the guillotine, and I'm out unscathed.
With the title, because it's interesting. Like before going into this conversation, I didn't expect to have this feeling as much, but like hearing the way you talk and hearing obviously the some of the influences you're pulling on, there's a lot of like religious and influence from God, right? And even the way you talk, it's like very like I feel like there's an inspiration or an influence from like preaching, you know? And that's a compliment just in the way that you structure your words together. I can now when I think about it, the way that you rhyme, you really have like a way of making these emphatic couplets, these emphatic bars that really stick with you. And
Mm,
with a title of a record as grand as Food from the Gods, and the fact that you've been taking your time with releases, what were some of the main things you wanted to like get off your chest or like showcase to listeners through this new album?
mm. first thing I want to do, I want to accept those words that you spoke over me and confirm that and say I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate you saying that because I feel like life is about shooting it out and then getting reflection and getting to reflect off what you put out. And if that reflection ain't right, then you got to fix it. It's all. And in life, you learn that you're gonna break a lot of shit, but you it's more important having the knowledge of being a fixer. Okay, so when you get in the habit of fixing things, you don't worry about breaking shit, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just want to be a constant fixer. I'm here to just be a fixer, bro. So the fix is on with me at all times. I'm just looking at what's broken and how I can fix it. And if I can't fix it, then I'm going to my pops about it. I take my bigger concerns to the bigger one. And I've been doing that. Like I run to God, bro. I don't look for nobody else for safety. But I run to God though. So if you hear that in my music, then yeah, that's what it is. You got me. I ain't preachy because I'm not a religious person. I don't belong to no religion. I don't claim no religion. I don't feel like I'm a part of these games that people play in this world. Like I never did. I know I'm in this world, but I know I'm not of it.
Mm.
And I know my food does come from God. I know that my daily bread comes from the Most High, the Creator. He created this thing for me to win. So why would I why would I not follow my ordered steps? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So all you're saying is just me being obedient, bro. This is the walk. This is what you get to do when you true to yourself. And I didn't. It took me my whole life to get to this point, to where I was able to put away my if I say my ulterior motives and be useful to the world and let myself be useful to my people that love me the most, and just being able to be utilized and not used is a great thing, bro. Don't use me, utilize me. You feel me? Utilize me. We all here to be used, but don't misuse me. Utilize me. And that's the thing. Learning how to utilize my friends, utilize, stop using and utilize. Learning how to stop using everything and utilize the things in my network. My life is just getting better by the day and by the moment. And I'm just looking to keep that thing. And that's where the music is coming from. So the music is subject to change.
Yeah, I like it, and that title. Like, the more I think about it, it feels like it's like this album's like an offering. It's like a offering from God of just like this amazing hip hop music, and I can hear now in the title some of the things you're even saying. Some of the titles like Daily Bread, it's coming up, and something else I love about this record too is that it runs the gamut of like what Black Milk's production bag is, because he puts you in these spaces like Elderberry that feel, reminiscent of like Really Dough or like something off Hell Below. Gotta Know feels like something off of like Fever, some of like the more later era stuff he's done on his last couple records. And then you have stuff in between that feel like classic early to mid 2010s Black Milk. So like
But
how did you and Black approach crafting the sound for Food from the Gods? Like what kind of sound did you want Black to kind of steer you in when it came to the instrumentals?
I never put puppet strings on Black. Black always send me what he want me to have. When you're dealing with great producers, you can't tell them what to do.
Mm.
I I feel weird calling Black and saying, "Man, can you send me something with some heavy hi hats on it?" Like, bro, how about I need something with an 808 drum kick on it with the snare doing the Young Jeezy. Like, give me that saxophone from Guess Who's Back. Like, come on, man. That's not what we here to do. It's not what we doing here. Everything was organic. He sent me those records. I heard them and I put the message on them that I feel like deserved to be there.
Yeah.
It was that neck in it. He sent the guillotine. I put my neck in it. And I said, "Oh, this is a guillotine. Look around. Oh, this thing can take your head off. Huh, what am I do here?" Stone Island, military coat, literary goat. Fam died. What you think I'm at that cemetery for?
That's crazy.
Outside, what you think I took that elderberry for? Topside, what you think I'm really legendary for? The dope shit. Heroin, black tar. That's what I spit.
That's ill, man. That's ill. Like when I think about like this some of like Black Milk's trademarks that show up on this record, like as an MC, how does production, like particularly like something I always love, it shows up all over this record, are the fucking grooves, like the energy and the drums and like how does that influence like your flow when writing and recording verses?
Bro, when he sent that beat to me, I was on the phone looking at Stone Island merch. I was just looking at this brand. I'm like, bro, they got a whole bunch of old school hard, like military jackets with these goggles in the head, in the hoods. And the deeper I start diving into this brand, it's like two other brands that they be like fused with that they came from. And it was just, I'm like, man, if I could rap, if I was a brand as a rapper, I would probably be Stone Island. And that's what it was like. I was like, yeah, that's what the goal is. Make my shit sound like Stone Island, bro. That that war ready wear that you know. It might not been the first time somebody might have had that jacket on before you, bro. But whoever it was a warrior, so don't worry about it. Put your coat of arms on, bro. It was like that type of deal. I wanted to make a bulletproof vest lyrically. And then I was like, okay, I got the Teflon now. Once I made the Teflon vest lyrically, it was like, okay, now what you got to do next? That vest ain't strong enough. What's stronger than a bulletproof vest? The breastplate of righteousness.
That conviction that you talk about now and like it really just amazes me how much you're able to kind of put that into the music because the way you wrapped it now is how it sounds and how it feels even when I'm listening to the MP3, you know? Like that's hard to do, you know? Like a lot of MCs they may have intentions that are, you know, really,
Yeah,
they
it's
really care
hard
about
to
this shit, but they
do.
just don't
It's
have the
hard to do.
ability to convey it, you know?
It's hard to do when your program has been corrupted, when your data been breached. It's hard
Mm.
to do. So yes, I agree. But I don't have them puppet strings on me. I've never been bound to what nobody else wanted me to do. I never had to answer to nobody other than my boss for my 9 to 5, and then that was just my job.
Hmm.
You're gonna lose your job. They never got to take my works away. Every job that I ever lost, I left with my work. My works won't be done until I'm gone. And then I'm still gonna have my works here working. So that's the good part about my creator. Once you start creating, he don't let you stop either. He's bound to his works just like you bound to yours. That's how you know where you come from. He not no liar. I'm bound to my works. Same way he is to his. The trees, the birds. He bound to this stuff. Like, I can't come out this land. I'm stuck here with y'all doing this until I go back into the dirt, till I
Mm.
take my earth suit. But right now, we get to ball. You feel me? Right now, we get to have this thing of ours. And that's what this is about. This thing of ours. It's not for everybody. I don't even want everybody listening to my music. I don't make music for the faint of heart. If you weak, if you plan on being weak, if you plan on doing some weak shit to your brother, if you plan on backstabbing a motherfucker, don't be riding around listening to me. No. Don't use me as a guide for no fuckery. That's why I keep my numbers low. I know who my fans are. We all DM each other all the time. I follow back everybody who follow me because I want to talk to the people who I love. I do a lot of loving. My life is surrounded by love. I want to talk to the people that I love. And it ain't hard to tell the niggas who don't love me, rotten fruit fall off the tree by itself. You ain't gotta touch it.
That's facts. That's facts, man. Like, yeah, like you're that authenticity, going back to Detroit, that lineage, it's all there, man. It's all there in your music. And on this record, you jokingly say that like teaming up with Black again for a record was like a no shit Sherlock moment. Like it was obvious this was gonna happen. But what compelled you to link up
Fact.
after 17, 18 years after this first collab album? Like what made Food from the Gods feel like the right time to drop in 2025? And even really outside collabing with Black, just generally, because you've taken your time since Santa Barbara too. Like you've been like I think I had JUS on and he was talking about how you create. He's like he was contrasting it with himself. He's like, like I can be, create some records, da da da. Like I can be work at a certain pace and I put it out. And you're like you take your time, like you're a perfectionist. I think that's how he described you. Like what made now feel like the right time for Food from the Gods?
You said it 5 times. And I just said it. Time. Time is the teller of all tales, man. Time is the teller of all stories, bro. And it's just a matter of time before y'all get that second plate. And it's just a matter of time before the praises come down right in front of you. It's just a matter of time before all my enemies, bro, stumble and fall. Just a matter of time before the victory is won. So all we doing, man, we just in a process. This is what happens before the victory is won. This is what it's all about. This is about winning, man. This is about winning and being in your divine purpose and understanding who you really are and what you're capable to do and who we are, bro. Understanding who we are, bro. You know, when more of us come together, bro, and get in our way. I've been a living testament to that. Want for nothing, bro. I've been overfed. That's why I call myself Fat Ray, bro. I've been overfed. It's been too much for me to eat. I had the shit. It don't feel right. I don't want to sit in the car and smoke by myself all day. It don't feel right until I can understand how to share correctly with my brother. You don't deserve the ball. If you
Hmm.
can't figure it out, if you and your brother can't figure it out, y'all don't deserve nothing, bro. How dumb you gonna be, bro? When we gonna smarten up and realize that this is our heaven? You don't gotta die to go to heaven, nigga. You in heaven right now, balling. That's why you get the ball. This is heaven, bro. Kingdom. We in the kingdom right now, balling. This ain't no. This ain't nothing you gotta go to the church to do. The Creator gave us these powers. Wake up so you can play. Stop letting the pre-program. Stop letting your program get corrupted, so you can play.
Yeah, like when we think about time,
Time.
like going back to where you first started 17, 18, 19, 20 plus however long it is since you've been rapping, like even before you recorded music, like what do you think has been the aspect of your music, the way you approach rhymes that has grown the most, that has evolved the most since then? Like what are you most proud of when it comes to how you rap now versus way back when?
I'm proud now that I finally understand that I can how to completely express myself. Like, um, when I first started rapping, I felt limited to certain topics because of my peers. Like, I can only talk about this type of stuff. Like, they only want to hear rugged Detroit shit. They want to hear street shit. Like, all my friends was in the streets. We was all in the streets. Like, we like Vietnam veterans to the streets, bro. And a lot of my friends lost their lives in the streets. It's been this constant war with the streets, bro, for us to stay alive, bro, and us to preserve the things that we know and protect it from the streets that we love so much. Everything that I had to do for the streets without the streets knowing about it, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Once the streets find out that you working for the streets is gonna use you up and make you motherfucking die in the streets. But you can survive the streets if you understand how to use the streets. The streets got to be used like everything else. I mean, we was talking about utilized and
Yeah.
not used. You have to utilize the streets because that's how you travel. So you have to create safe way to travel through the streets. And at the end of the day, you got to be able to walk. If you got to run, that's not good. If you got to hop behind your car, that's not good. You got to be able to walk through the streets and navigate and be able to survive in any environment. Or you not that. I come from hunter gatherers, bro. I come from uncle. He had to get up and put his boots on at 4 in the morning so he can go catch a hog so you can have some bacon on the plate in the morning. Asleep, he in trying to catch a boar. Everybody don't know how I feel to put a boar on the table. You're not gonna know. Some people just know how I feel to eat the bacon.
Mm.
But you will never know how I feel to go jump on a board back with a machete. It's a difference when you a warrior. You sacrifice so your people don't have to be warriors. That's why you a protector. So fast forwarding through your question, like now I know how to express myself in a way where nothing can hurt me. I
Mm.
didn't know how to protect myself with my mouth back in the day. Like I knew how to get myself in trouble with my mouth, but I didn't know how to get myself out of trouble, if that makes sense. Now I know how to protect myself with my words. Any like a lot of my friends used to be like, bro, why you not on like you supposed to be? If I could rap like you, if I could rap like you, bro, that's always been a story. If I could rap like you, I'd be a billionaire. And my understanding of the situation has always been the same. Like, if you could rap like me, you'd probably be dead because you would have already taken advantage of the skill and utilized it in the wrong way.
Mm.
With great with great power comes great responsibility. And that's one thing I've always understood through it all. Don't be hastened to run after nothing because whatever you chasing after is gonna run away from you. The more I learned to not to not be passionate about things that don't matter. I learned how to express myself more. I learned that a lot of stuff that I cared about was shit that I wasn't gonna care about 10 years from now.
That's facts. I'm already starting to
You know
notice
what I'm
that
saying?
too.
Like
Yeah.
that's all it was. It was just simple reflection, and it'd be like, dang. And then the only thing that I found reference for the truth was like the word of the Most High. His word always be my reference for the truth because it always be true. And then I'll be looking at what my mans and them and what the big homies done told me in the street, and that shit meant all the lies.
Mm.
And then I look at how me and my friends act, and that should be the wrong way. So I'll be using these references to fix the way that we operate, if that makes sense. And I don't feel like that's being religious or that's being preachy. I feel like that is the only way. That is the way. It's a way of life. And you gotta be that way to get the benefits of it. And it ain't got nothing to do with none of that stuff that everybody been telling us. Families that pray together stay together. That's all it is, bro. Pray with your peoples. And people we don't know what praying is. They think prayer is something that like going before God, confessing all your sins and all of that. No, God know what you did already. That's not what prayer is.
Mm. And when we look at like the future now, like is there anything that people, fans should look out for from you when it comes to like upcoming more work, tour dates, merch, anything more with Black
That
coming? Like, let me know what that is.
I want to give life, bro. Now that I see what this is about, my words are going to be inspiration from here on out. Call it what you want. Inspiration for myself. I want to be inspired, bro. I'm not being inspired no more. You don't understand what I'm saying? So I guess it become that time where like when you looking for shit and you can't find it, then it's probably because it's you and you are the thing that you looking for. That's what it is with me at this point in my life. I'm at the point in my life where I'm what I'm looking for, and I'm gonna be the thing. I'm gonna be the. I'm gonna be the. I'm gonna be the energy. I'm gonna be the one.
Hmm.
and I'm not settling for the two. So anytime somebody come around me, know that you also, when one and one comes together, we are the two. I'm only looking for one-minded people as well. Who want to be the change, bro? You want to change, I want to change. We can change this. It all just come with desire, passion. What you passionate about? What you want to fix today? Being a fixer. What can we fix today, bro? Let's fix this. Let's make this look better. That's what I wake up every day and look at my life. What can I do with my life and make it look better? How can we remix this? So you can look forward to remixes of everything that was done wrong in the past in my future. That's what I'm giving y'all. I'm going to give y'all the whole catalog. I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to release it all. I'm going to put all my music in one place. They're going to be able to go back to 1996 and hear my first song and say, hey, damn, listen to that. And then they'll be able to listen to this. And then I'm going to fix everything and give it to you the way that it was supposed to sound in the end.
That's amazing, man. That's
So
amazing. I
stick
can't
with me.
wait. We will. We
So
will.
stick with me.
Everybody here better do that the
God's
same.
willing, God willing, it be in him and be as his will for me to get that done. Y'all gonna see it. I'm just waiting for my daddy to say all right, and then it's on. I
Man,
just
you
need permission.
you really put in the work through the years, and after Santa Barbara, man, like I was really hyped to see what you had coming next as your like next full record and teaming up with none other than Black Milk. You guys, my expectations were really high, and I just have to say that you blew them out of the water. This is definitely one of the best albums of the year, and I can't stop playing it. I just appreciate you taking the time out to come on the show. It really means a lot. For real.
Bro, I
For real.
appreciate you reaching out because I'm gonna tell you the truth, bro. Me nor Black, bro, we not trying to talk with niggas, bro. I'm not even talkerton like that, bro. I'm from the show and tell era, bro. I show, and then we could talk about it later, if that makes sense.
Mm.
I'm gonna show you first, and then I'm gonna tell you. You feel me? Ain't no more talking. All that talking, that shit, that shit gets you nowhere. So don't be looking for me and Black to do much more talking in the future, bro. We gonna talk with our hands. Feel me? So I appreciate you reaching out for this opportunity for me to voice my opinion and tell the world how I really feel, because it's not gonna be too many opportunities where they getting to hear it from the horse's mouth. I ain't gonna lie.
And that makes me even more blessed. I really appreciate it. This was a dope convo.
Salute, man.
Yeah.
Salute to the whole platform, bro. I wish you the best, bro. I wish you get all the followers and the and the viewers and the likes and subscribers that you need to survive in this thing, bro, because you deserve it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Simply because you deserve it, bro.
Appreciate it.
Act accordingly.
I will.
Act accordingly.
Thanks so much, man.
Cause you got me. Cause you got me, gang. If it mean anything, you got me.
It means a lot. It means a lot. Honestly,
All right.
honestly, this was a great conversation.
All right, then. I couldn't bring Black, but you got me, gang. You got my full support, and I appreciate you. I respect your platform. I see what you're doing, and you know who I am now. So you know what I'm. You know I'm here,
Facts. Facts.
and that's what's important, bro. You feel me?
Yeah. Much love to you, man. And I wish
Let's
all the
fix
best
it.
to you. All the best to you. And it's gonna be
Can
keep
we
going
fix
up with
it?
you. We can.
We can, bro.
We
We can
can.
fix it. Salute to the real, man. Black, I love you, bro. You know what time it is, man. To the world, man. Food for the gods, man. Food from the God. You know what I'm saying? Everybody take that, man, and make your own discernment with it. And we could talk about it later.
Love it. Love it. Peace. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Rap Music Plug podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to not only support the show, but join the fastest growing community of like-minded indie rap fans, go to patreon.com, search for the Rap Music Plug podcast, and become a patron. You will gain access to an exclusive patron-only Discord that me and 70 plus people engage with on the regular, as well as other patron-only benefits such as bonus episodes, album recommendation reviews, early access to regular episodes, and much more. So if you have any questions about any of the Patreon stuff, or just want to keep tabs on the show, interact with me on rap music and all the great stuff that we can talk about, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at rapmusicplugpod, or shoot me an email at qlctv.podcast@gmail.com. You can also rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify as well. But that's enough self-promotion for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace.